So 3 most important qualities in a teacher. For me, the first one, the absolute key one, is someone who's a good listener. Teaching is essentially a relationship between the student and the teacher. And if you think about a relationship with a family member, a loved one, or a friend, or a partner, if they weren't listening to you, you would sit down and make sure that they were by changing something, or that relationship wouldn't last very long. So absolutely critical that a teacher is able to listen. Someone who's adaptable. So everyone learns and needs different things out of life. So I think teachers need to be able to change the way in which they deliver their content, and also sometimes the way in which they conduct themselves for a student to get the most out of their lessons. And then teachers need to be dedicated. We often talk about teachers being inspiring, and I think what we find inspiring is their dedication. So their ability to say, I don't think that's working for you, let's try something else, or I know this is difficult, but keep going, you're nearly there, or I believe you can do this. That's why people are inspired. In terms of best experiences and biggest challenges, my biggest challenge was I taught during my year abroad in France. That was a big challenge because it was the first time I'd done any teaching, so I was learning a whole new set of skills and habits, which made it quite difficult. But also, the language barrier was there. I still speak reasonable French, but the problem, of course, was, kids were muttering, mumbling, and using slang that I'd never heard before. So, controlling the class and figuring out exactly what was going on at times was a lot more difficult than it might be otherwise. In terms of my best experience, that actually came through teaching a curriculum on the NCS programme. So I had a girl on that who was displaying a lot of challenging behaviour. So she made my life really difficult for a while. But I kind of got the sense with her she needed someone who was able to give her a bit of leeway and take a bit of a hands-off approach. So I did that. I was firm with her and fair, but I maybe let her get away with a couple of things I wouldn't with some other people. And she actually completed the programme, which was amazing in and of itself. But she then came to me at the end of the programme and said, I would never have completed this if it wasn't for you. And I still find that really touching. So it's why I'm here, I guess. Why did I get into teaching, and what else do I do for work? So I'll answer the latter part of that first. I'm an actor by trade, that's my main job. So teaching is a really good job to pair with acting because it's flexible and it's rewarding. And it's very rare as an actor to find a job that is flexible and rewarding. You normally get to do one and not the other. Also, as an actor, what you're essentially doing is learning to empathise and understand the way humans behave in very real situations. So it's quite useful for teaching, actually, in some ways. And in terms of why I got into teaching, I've sort of talked about, the year abroad and my kind of mentoring work, delivering a curriculum on the NCS programme. And I'm gonna hone into that a little bit because for me, what was significant about that was it taught me a lot about environment, the importance of environment. So because a lot of our learning takes place in the classroom, and there's a sort of set of social pressures there. And if you can take someone out of that, you obviously don't get rid of all the pressures, but you can nullify quite a few of them. And that gives people a space where they can be vulnerable. Now, vulnerable is a word that gets a very bad rap, I think, these days, because for me, what it means is being open with people. And when you're open with people, you're able to change. So if you allow people to be vulnerable, they might learn to trust someone. They might learn some new habits. They might think more critically about themselves or an issue they hadn't perceived in a certain way until that point. And that doesn't sound like a lot, or it's all very personal, but actually when that goes out into the world, that's how big national, international change happens. That's how we stop climate change. That's how we get people out of poverty. So, if that's not inspiring, then what else is?